welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I'm doing a quick soft lock tutorial. I'm not a professional with soft locks yet, but this is how I do them. So as you can see, I didn't add the lock at the root just because I feel like, well, they're already stiff. You gotta give them a few days to loosen up once you get soft locks, but putting it at the root I feel like will just make it even stiffer, and it adds, in my experience doing them on myself, it adds more tension at the root, and that's not what I wanted to do. So I added it a couple centimeters from the root, and I did that to give it the flat look also. So I added it a couple centimeters below the root, and then I put the crochet needle through, and I didn't expand the lock hole or nothing. The hole that's already there, I just put it through the crochet hook. So once I did that, I don't really know how to explain this part, but I used pre-stretched spring twist hair. And you can really use whatever brand locks, but I use the bobbi new Locs. But and you can use whatever pre-stretched spring twist hair, but I used the freetress. So what I did was, I didn't use a crochet hook for this part, but I added the pre-stretched spring twist hair. I pressed it against the root, and then I wrapped it close to the root like 3 times. And once I did that 3 times, I started going down the braid and her natural hair. So once I did that, as you can see, I'm just wrapping with one piece of the pre-stretched spring twist hair at first, and then I go and start start wrapping both the one strand and the other strand, if that makes sense. Hopefully you saw what I did, but again, I don't really know how to explain it. Maybe I hope you can just see from watching, but yeah. So here's another view of what I was talking about, or me just wrapping the lock. So I don't remember if I said that when I pull the crochet needle through the braid, I actually pull the braid and the lock through, but hopefully you saw that. So like I said, I wrapped the spring twist hair close to the root about 3 times, and then I'd start wrapping down. But as you can see, I'm wrapping with one piece of the spring twist hair. So I wrap that around a couple times, and eventually I take the other piece of the spring twist hair that I'm holding with the lock, and I start wrapping that also in the same direction. And this is where I start wrapping both in the same direction. So I'm not sure if you got that in the last clip, but if you didn't, hopefully you got it in this clip. So my client's hair was pretty long, so I used one piece to wrap the beginning of her hair and the braid and all that, and then I used another piece after I was done with the first piece. So to seal it, basically at the end of the spring twist hair, it gets like really thin. So I just use that part, and I just wrap as tight as I can to get it to seep through the lock, and it pretty much stays. So after I ran out of hair to wrap the beginning of her natural hair with, I take another piece, and then I just repeat the same thing using one piece at first and then grabbing the other piece that I'm holding with the lock and wrap those both down. So while I was doing her hair also, I realized to use less hair, I can do what I just did. If you have a client with longer hair, you can just fold the hair, her natural hair up, and then wrap it like that. That saves way more hair, because while you're wrapping, the natural hair extends as well, since it's like you're wrapping and then it's basically squeezing down and it's just basically stretching. So to prevent from using so much hair, I just folded it up so I only use so much hair. And once I did that, it gave me enough hair to wrap down, wrap all the way down, or wrap halfway down, and to get her hair completely covered at the same time. So like I said a couple seconds ago, the ending of the spring twist hair, once you're finishing wrapping it, it gets really thin. So you can either use nail glue or do what I did in the first part. When I used the first piece of hair, since I'm still on her natural hair, I really didn't like to use the nail glue just because I didn't want the nail glue to seep through. So I didn't really use nail glue throughout the entire process, but I did use it occasionally. But most of the time I just used the thinnest piece once the spring twist hair ran out, and I just wrapped that. And I don't dip it or anything. As you can see, I just add mousse and then spray it. You'll eventually see me do that, and then I'm done. But with the mousse, I like to basically go around and make sure the mousse is all the way in there. I like to get under, even when I do braids, I like to get under the braid or the lock and just press it into there and just really rub it throughout the scalp and the locks and things like that. If I can't get all of it, I usually get most of it. And yeah. So that's really the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And thank you for watching.